The final message that the followers of Yeshua, that we would be the Netzarai. Yeshua is the Messiah. He's the branch of Isaiah 11, and he was linked to the star of Numbers 24 verse 17. Because the Nazir was a separate one. In Numbers 23 verse 9, what does it say? Balaam prophesies and he tells about that you and I would be Nazarenes. He doesn't say that. Yes, he does. Because he says that we would be a people dwelling alone, separated, not reckoning itself among the nations. And that's your escape plan. It's amazing. In the 21st verse of the 22nd chapter, we see that Balaam is on his donkey. And he is on a narrow road that leads to life. And not many will find it. Enter through the narrow gate. For small is the gate and narrow is the path that leads to life. And not many will find it. But wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And many are traveling on it. Many are traveling on it. There's 2 vineyards, brethren. There is 2 vineyards. And there is a wall and a narrow path and a donkey. The gathering of the 2 houses of Israel from the 2 vineyards of walled religion. That's what Yahweh's trying to do. He's trying to take us out of these 2 vineyards that are walled in with religion. The messenger blocked Balaam's way on the narrow path by a drawn sword. And this is a prophetic shadow picture for looking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The 2 vineyards are separated from the narrow path by a wall of fence. And it's the wall of fence of men's religious traditions. The vineyard is hidden Israel. One vineyard is Judah and the other vineyard is Ephraim. The vineyards of Judaism and Judo-Christianity. There's no such thing as Judo-Christian. That's a contradiction in terms, but you hear people saying it. Judo, what? They're 2 vineyards of religion, and you're walled in if you're stuck in them. Awakened Israel must punch through the walls of tradition that have blocked the lost sheep from the narrow path. Well, they'll be met by the mercy seat of Yeshua. The drawn sword will be lowered, which will give us access to the tree of life through the small eastern gate into that tree of life. For that drawn sword to be dropped so that we can gain access. In the Hebrew, the donkey is spelled Aleph, Tav, Nun, and a Vav. It's really a sod about the humble servant is the Aleph Tav, the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. And his desire, Yeshua's desire, is to carry you and I. He wants to carry us. He wants to take those burdens from us. He wants to lead us on that narrow path between the 2 vineyards. But he was struck down by a man motivated by money, was he not? Just like the donkey was struck down by a man motivated by money, Yeshua was struck down by Judas, a man motivated by money. Presently, brethren, all I see is people are just vineyard swapping. Oh, I'm in the vineyard over here. Oh, actually, I'm going to go over there. Oh, yeah, give me some of that messianic bling. And now I'm in this vineyard. And they miss the narrow path that leads to life. It's no better than the vineyard you just got out of. Well, yeah, now you were lawless and now you're so into the law you can't see the wood for the trees. You've lost the heart of Yeshua. I mean, what's the point? You just swap vineyards and you miss the narrow path that leads to life, which is covenant community, which is the Melchizedek scepter, which has been given to Yeshua. It's amazing to me. We're either taking Jews from the vineyard of Judaism, missing the narrow path of covenant and putting them directly in the vineyard of Christianity. That's what Jews for Jesus does. It just takes Jews and makes them Christians. And then we've got others that leave the vineyard of Ephraim's Christianity and jump into the vineyard of Messianic Judaism, or even worse, Judaism. They strike down the deity of Yeshua along the way. They miss the narrow path and the small gate that leads to life because they don't enter into covenant. They miss the Melchizedek scepter. And everything becomes a Levitical hierarchy. And then we've got others that just stand there and throw grapes at one another. Seriously. I mean, you laugh, but they do. Just start thinking, well, I'm going to lob a grape over the wall. And then another one comes back and hits you on the head. And you get, everyone's just lobbing grapes at each other, just fighting amongst themselves through their walls of traditions. Well, I'm going to guard my religious traditions. That's not what the verse said. I know it. Seriously. I used to do it. It was a great sport for a season. We need to be walking on that narrow path, being led by the humble donkey who holds the scepter of the star prophecy. And we're going to be led out of the greater Exodus to a place of safety, because it's about Bethlehem, Ephrath, and the tower of the flock that Yahweh is saying this is the fulfillment of all those prophecies that was spoken about to the believing community in Matthew 2, just as it was coming into fruition. Balaam refused to listen to Yahweh's messenger. He tried to prevent him, the messenger, from turning to the left or to the right. We need to keep the commandments, not turn to the left, not turn to the right. Balaam thought that his sacrifices and worship practices would somehow move Yahweh to deny his commandments. But it just isn't so. Yahweh wants us to keep his commandments. He advised Balak on how to get Israel cursed by not listening to the teaching and instructions of Moshe. Worship like the nations worship through Christmas, Easter, harvest, Halloween. You see, the trick of Satan is trying to destroy the promises that the Son, the star, the very one who fulfilled the prophecies of the utterances of Balaam, has brought forth. And today, brethren, that magic and that sorcery is trying to destroy what Yahweh has for his Book of the Covenant community. That magic and that sorcery is trying to destroy what Yahweh has for his Book of the Covenant community. That magic and that sorcery is trying to destroy what Yahweh has for his Book of the Covenant community. And that is that we would be part of a greater exodus, that we would be truly led out of Egypt by the Son of Israel himself through the Spirit. And that, brethren, that we are giving and being revealed to a place of Bethlehem of Ephrath and the tower of the flock is key and instrumental. Yahweh truly is amazing.